Top sports where the takes don't miss.
Late.
The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Water bringing fire, cowboy, tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's high top sports, baby.
Let's get it. Let's go. Good evening. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Sunday evening to all of you. Happy Spring Football Eve. Yeah, it's football's back. It's already here, boys. It already passed us. We're off the off season. It's ready to rock and roll. We're going to have a jam-packed show. Ali Peak joins us. We're going to talk about what is to come. What can we expect in the next couple of weeks as we roll into spring camp and some trending for some top wide receivers. Ladies and gentlemen, Cody the Prof and Ali Peak join us here today. Prof, we had a great show yesterday with our watch party. That was a great time. We'll talk about a great weekend for all things Florida sports. Ali, did you get a chance to tune into the success we had yesterday from not just basketball, but across the board?
So yesterday I had 2 soccer games, a baseball game, and a gymnastics meet 2 hours and 45 minutes away. So on the way home from the gymnastics meet, I literally had my phone set up on the dashboard, like right over the speedometer, and was watching the basketball game on the way home. I didn't walk in my door till midnight last night from Estero, Florida, which is very far.
Kids are the worst, aren't they?
Kids are the worst.
I don't know why I had so many. No one told me that my life was going to be completely dominated by youth sports, but here we are.
Oh, man. That is brutal. Just shove them in a closet or something. You know what I mean? Lock the door.
But I did get to watch on a screen this big as I put our lives in danger and drove home.
But it's worth it. Gator Boys stay hot. We got it. We have this day stay dialed in. So the Gator Boys stay hot. Women's track and field wins an SEC championship, and women's softball is on a roll. I think they're undefeated, 23 or 24-0. Don't quote me on the number, but they haven't lost. I do know that. And then men's baseball took down Miami, and they've only still are rock and roll with one loss. So when we say we are an everything school, we mean it to the fullest. And I've been saying for the last 2 weeks now, week and a half,
gymnastics is also continuing to do well.
That's right. That is right. I did see something about gymnastics. Thank you. Yes, it is buzzing. I said it for the last week and a half. It's fun to talk about it.
Yeah. When you're just winning in everything, it's hard to keep up with the amount of winning.
Okay, the softball team lost. Disregard it. They suck again.
Okay, one loss against UCLA.
Well, UCLA did College World Series last year. They make it on a very regular basis. Florida, an undefeated season in softball is not common. Florida will still make it to College Station more than likely, which would be really cool.
They've got to rock through Oklahoma. That's kind of where, in my opinion, where it's gonna kind of be the end of war. But I listen. Playoff softball is much watch TV, so I'll be tuning in for that.
Softball is awesome. I actually wish more of our regular season games were on television because it is, or they did a better job streaming it. That's one area where UF could improve would be streaming women's softball. Yeah,
because it is very electric to watch. It's definitely more of the fun. We'll get into the recruit here in just a minute that Florida is trending for, but. Al, you and I have had a chance to talk. We talked off air, and it was a fun conversation about kind of Coach Johnson. Because obviously you spoke to Summerall. Yeah. We all kind of, me, you, Dave, we all kind of discussed after the fact. We all kind of I think did a good job of asking separate questions too. You even said, hey, let's try to ask about the uniforms. I didn't get a chance to do that. So I was like, we're running out of opportunities to ask him about it.
It's hard, right? I had a huge list of things I didn't get to because the window of time, and you did the same thing I did where we kind of pushed it on our time, but there's just so many things to get in.
He was great with his answers too, and I think that's what makes it. I mean, he's well spoken. I think he understands. He wants to give great sound bites and great takes. I feel like everybody thus far seems that way. I've seen interviews with Brad White and with Buster and Evan and McKissick on Stadium and Gale. They're all just fun, very energetic interviews, and everybody was excited to say something, which was great. And we continue to see John. I mean, John's been all over the place with interviews after the fact. Continue to see him at basketball games. Obviously, it's the place to be right now. It's must see TV. But seeing him sit right next to Hugh continues to excite me because I think that's a business decision, not just a fun decision, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like he's making all the right moves right now. He is endearing himself to the fan base. He is injecting himself into the university as a whole, into all the different sports programs. Like his quote about "juiceless is useless" is an all-time fave. Like we need to throw it on a t-shirt.
Already is.
Okay, well, great.
Come on, Allie.
I have to retire the Lane Train t-shirt, so I need to replace it.
Got it.
It'll go right next to your Stoops t-shirt, right? You got a Stoops t-shirt too.
I do have a Stoops t-shirt too from from back then. But
who do we get instead of Stoops?
Zook. Well, which time? Because we thought we were getting Stoops like 3 different times. But
I was going to say Urban. I was like,
actually, there was talk about Urban during Stoops, but it was the shirt I have is from
Zook era.
Zook. Yeah, when we ended up hiring Zook. But we also thought we might get Parcells during that period of time too. So we kind of have a history of settling on maybe our second or third fan choice. But I'm good with where we are right now. But the "juiceless is useless" was just such a good quote. And I think particularly for where Gator fans are right now, because that's one of the things that drove us absolutely bonkers about Napier, is that it just felt
he was juiceless,
so lethargic. He was completely juiceless. Like, could you imagine him going into the locker room and like, I think about when Dorian called him low T, and he didn't like specifically call him that, but he said like, it feels like we have low T energy. Like it was the nicest, like horrible insult possible, but like in only Dorian's fashion that he could deliver. But that's exactly what it felt like. Zero energy. And we are getting 100% the opposite. Like we definitely are going to get the Will Muschamp punched whiteboards and things like that at halftime. Like we're going to get the exact polar opposite of the behavior that we've had for the last 4 years. But like, I'm here for that.
I find it very interesting that teams and it doesn't matter what it is, football, baseball, basketball, sales team, mechanics, it doesn't matter. You take on what your leadership is
100%.
as a part of, if the leader's doing it, that's the way your shop or whatever's going to roll. If you're juiceless, you're obviously useless. Obviously, you've been very well connected with the team. Is this the most that you've seen a staff just out and about and at games ever out of all the staffs?
So when I was in college, I felt like I saw Urban staff a lot of places, but I think that's also kind of because I was in the places that the team was, if that makes sense. Like I worked at a restaurant called Napolitano's. It was owned by a current player's parents, and it was a restaurant that like Spurrier was at all the time. Like it's where they did their recruiting visits. It basically was the Spurriers before Spurriers existed. So I think I felt like I saw these coaches all the time in the Wild, but part of that is because I worked there and they chose to go there because they had a private coach's room that they could go in and kind of get left alone. And then, they honestly sent coaches into bars on a very regular basis to kind of monitor their players. So I would be with Eric and our friends out. So we would see them in these places because they were essentially getting babysat. But I do feel like sporting events wise, like they would take recruits to basketball games and things like that. But like we're seeing them go because they want to be there, not because they need to take a recruit to a golf tournament or, a women's softball game or anything like that. Where they're there because they want to introduce their families to it and they want to be a part of the community. And that feels very different than any previous staff. It's not being used as like some sort of benefit to the football program. It's literally them wanting to inject themselves into the fandom.
Yeah, and look, it's early. We talked a little bit about this. Is like things could change. I think you and I, Allie, talked about like if you have a shitty year one, like if we see you walking around, or maybe it was, I don't know who we had. Anyways, you see them walking around.
Off air, like
it was you and I. Okay,
continues. Like I'm all for this. I'm so excited we're getting all of it. And the reality is, in year one, they're not going to win 10, 12 football games. I mean, maybe they will, and I'll be completely caught off guard. But let's say you win 8, which I still think would be a huge, massive improvement. Are you this willing to stand in the paint and get questions both from your local media, but also from people that are going to walk up to you at a basketball game or at a baseball game or whatever and ask you, hey, what happened? Why didn't we beat XYZ? And like, if they still continue to do that, I will be even more impressed than I already am right now.
Yeah, everybody loves you right now. So it's easy to go out and to consume that. But I do think there is a factor because even I don't feel like when Napier got here, I recall seeing everybody being around it. And again, like especially basketball right now, it's how do you not want to be a part of it? And I think that it's important to put yourself in that infectious environment because it's like, I want to be able to duplicate this and
I think
replicate it.
getting that juice from that team is important. Like I don't, greatness begets greatness. And I swear to you, the reason we won in 06, the beginning of it was those guys watching in the April of 2006, watching that championship team, that 05-06 basketball team get to celebrate. Like I can literally remember the moment standing on University Avenue and guys looking at each other saying like, we want this too. And I think that's very real. And I think it's very important to surround yourself with it.
Yeah. Last night during Isaiah Brown had a big coast to coast slam. And obviously the O-Dome, I think they're getting the roof checked today by the insurance company because they blew the roof off that thing, and they panned over and you just caught John Summerall for a second, and I think it took him by surprise for a second. Like he kind of like sat back and looked around like, oh, this is something, and this is just a quarter of what I'm gonna have at the Swamp. Like this is
because he's probably been around loud stadiums.
Like, think about that. You've been watching Tulane basketball for, the entire amount of your childhood you remember. And now you're like, oh, like, whoa, this is a real
I think there's a difference too, because you've probably played in loud stadiums, but going into a hostile environment and just hearing it is more of like you're trying to sound it out. But like, even though it's not necessarily for him, he understands that this is mine. This is my, these are my people. I am a part of this, and I'm finally on the winning. I'm on the right side of the loudness, and it's a different type of consumption for sure. Yeah, so I love seeing it. I love seeing just there's like a sense of freedom amongst the staff. I think too, just based on how the interviews are going, how it does feel like. I mean, I don't know if they're going to happen, but we've reached out to a handful of the assistant coaches, and they've all wrote back, and they're like, "Yeah, we're down," which unheard of from. Prior, like that you could even get a follow from the previous staff, let alone be able to message them. Now, again, I don't know if these guys are busy, so I'm not holding anybody to any type of
100%.
But the fact they go like they're all about 100% down. Like they're all like, hey, we're coming up on a busy time. I was like,
it's like a absolutely different vibe than I can remember ever.
It's almost like somebody's telling them like every flaw that the last staff had. Like they've done like a deep analysis. Like, hey, you guys need to go on these independent media. Like they're important. They're getting some massive viewership. Yeah. They know what they're talking about. They have the fan support. Hey, you guys need to go to games because we didn't see enough of that.
It's an entire generation of younger coaches, so they get it. They see it with their own eyes that like these independent media, like I mean, I'm older than you guys, but Summerall is 2 years older than me. We're from the same generation. He has probably watched this happen on social media and sees who moves the needle and why for these different fan bases. And it's not some national reporter from ESPN. And that's not a knock that they don't do a good job reporting those stories or anything like that. But if I'm a Gator fan and I'm going to find out, something about my program, I'm going to tune into somebody that's going to ask the questions that the fan base cares to know the answers to. Yeah. I don't care what gets said on some national show, where the reporter had to look up the name of the assistant coach that they were going to interview or whatever. Like that doesn't, as a fan, that doesn't move the needle for me. And I think that's why all of our, these independent groups, podcast groups do so well, is because we are fans.
Well, we don't have to follow any rules either. I mean, I think you're seeing it more and more when you see like the ESPN interviews. I was watching the St. Mary and Gonzaga game, and the guys after the fact asked a couple of questions, and they were just your very basic kind of cookie cutter questions. Because again, in that moment, what are you going to do? But it isn't from a fan's perspective. And look, those questions for hundreds of years have been great, but they just don't carry the same. Now, again, in that moment, it's not the greatest example, but that's those same type of energy carries over on a regular basis, on a basic interview. I can't tell you, I mean, before Summerall came into our podcast, I was watching all of his podcasts prior to that. And it was like the people that had him on, I was like, you guys didn't even take a second to watch anything because you just asked the same question that everybody else just did. Yeah. And I was like, just take 5 minutes because I'm like, I get it. Like you're kind of asking for your fan base. So I kind of understood it, but it was just, your basic kind of 5 to 10 questions. I was like, yeah, we can't do that. So it was nice for obviously the three of us all asked our own range of questions and our own style, like again, our own style as well too, which is important. I think it's important for the fan base. I think it's important for John. I think he showed to have a lot of fun on everybody's podcast. I think he's embracing what it is to be a Florida Gator. And as much as we get labeled as this toxic group, which there is a little bit of truth to that, we've shown to be the most loyal and loving and
incredibly loyal. And it's not toxic. This is the standard. This is what we expect at the University of Florida. And if you are meeting that or working towards that, we are 100% behind you. But one, don't try and, fix us, because there is not something that needs fixing with our fan base, right?
We're perfect.
Is the standard for us. But we are incredibly loyal, but let us in too. It is really hard to root and support for somebody when the chips are down if you feel like you don't know them at all. This is a currency almost. There will be a point in time when we are, coming to his defense because we understand what the plan is, because he explained to us what the plan is. And that's going to pay off.
I don't feel in the dark at all. Like it's there in a weird way. I feel like we're kind of, expecting some things to have some mediocrity and for some things to figure out. There's like that also, because we've gotten so much transparency and so much information. There's like a weird boost of confidence because of the coaching that is the staff that is there. But yeah, I mean, he's made it very clear. There's some areas to be concerned about. Cody?
The saying, don't piss down my leg and tell me it's rain. Like, think about last summer when we were being told, like, basically DJ doesn't need any practice because DJ's so good he could potentially be in New York. Wait until you just see what's going to be put on the field.
We ate it up.
We did.
Like, bet.
But imagine had they said, listen, he's in bad shape injury-wise. We're not 100% sure what kind of product we're going to get on the field, because you go not practicing for 6 months and tell me how good you are at something. So honestly, it might be a rough season. We don't know what we're going to see. That would have tempered our expectations so much.
We still would have been crazy, but maybe not as early. And I remember talking about it very vividly when it happened. It's like one of two things. One, they straight up lied, which is an issue. Two, they thought he was good, which is an issue because they clearly ain't got a clue what they're talking about. So I was like, either way, we're effed. All right, that's kind of where we're at.
Well, I thought that the last regime was turning the page when they opened up the entire practice to the media. One practice, they didn't have to do that, and that was like why is that like a big? It was a massive thing. It's like, oh my god, like they opened up the practice for media, and they're gonna get to watch the entire.
But they
practice.
couldn't write anything about it. Remember?
But they couldn't write anything about it. It's like, so what was the point? No phones.
We still got good news out of it. We still got a lot of positive. We
got the news they wanted to hear.
We were hoping you were just going to bring the good vibes. You couldn't say anything at all except for like, oh yeah, don't just wait till you see what I saw. Like,
yeah,
it was a whole bunch of fluff. But I will tell you, when I sat in the alumni, they do like an alumni barbecue the last week of the summer every year, and Eric was already very Eric on the situation.
Team Billy. Big Billy guy. Yeah.
For a long time. But he literally sat up there, said about absolutely nothing the entire time. Wouldn't go over. Napier came in for like 10 minutes to where the former players are. I was like, you want to go shake his hand? No, he's not going to be my head coach next year. Like, okay, great. But he literally sat there for like 2.5 hours and was like, we're effed. And I was like, seriously? Like, this looks good. This looks good. He's like, oh no, we were terrible. We're gonna maybe win 4 games, and I was like, no, like this is gonna be great. We heard this.
I'm bringing Eric on next time.
I'm telling you, we're gonna win 4 games. Well,
what's Eric saying now?
He feels very vindicated because essentially everything that Summerall has been saying that like we need to change are the things he's been saying are broken for 4 years. So the toughness being like a very large part of that, and then the attention to detail, the lack of attention to detail, have been the 2 things that he has been harping on the most. And so the fact that those are the 2 things that keep coming up, he's like, right, this is exactly what I've been saying. But he's on the Summerall train for sure.
And you look and people say, well, this generation is just soft, and that's just the way football's going, and these players are going. Listen, I saw IU just run it down everybody's throat. Everybody's at will. also I saw Miami do that too this year. So it's not softness. It's coaches being soft on the players.
Correct. That was a choice. That was not this is the generation. But when and Napier said the thing about we're going to play good old American football and we're going to beat the shit out of each other or something at talking about the spring game, like yes, that's what we want.
Summerall? Yeah.
Summerall said it. Yeah.
Yeah, you said Napier. I was like, what?
Oh, sorry, no, Summerall. Gosh, sorry. I'm tired.
Yeah, I loved him talking about that. I think he said, like, there's obviously positions that are pretty locked in, like Jaden Ball at the running back, and who knows, maybe they'll have some more answers. But he said, yeah, everybody else, you're playing for a spot, bro. So we're playing football. We're going to be playing football on Saturday. So, I mean, look, was it a little bit of a sales pitch to get the spring game? It's not. It's free, so it's not like it's bringing revenue into the universe. I mean, it is to an extent, but these are those things where.
That's what we want to hear. Don't tell me we're going to play flag.
Well, and you can do it. The NFL does it.
I hate this idea too of, and I talked about it with the Olympics, and you can't convince me otherwise because people got hurt playing in the Olympics from obviously on the NHL team, and everyone's like, oh, we can't get hurt doing this, and it's like it wasn't a meaningless game. Playing in the Olympics wasn't meaningless. Playing in spring ball to earn your spot is not meaningless. So this thought of like, oh, I have to go through the motion to protect myself. It's like. So you get hurt later on. Like, you can't think like that. Like, just play the damn game. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I hate this mindset we've gotten into of like, we've got to reserve. You got to protect. No. What do you mean? You haven't done that your entire career.
Right.
Your entire childhood is not surrounded about, oh, am I going to get hurt? Am I going to rest myself enough? No, you're just a little crackhead, 15-year-old on cotton candy and sugar just running around. What's changed? Just go play the game. It's a game.
Yeah.
Well, and the NFL's been doing it safely for years. I mean, you just don't hit the money. I mean, obviously you're not going to tackle Jaden Ball low. Like, you just don't hit the money. It's not hard it's not a hard concept. If Dallas Wilson or VB3 goes across the middle, the safety's not going to knock them into the next century. No, like there's just smart ways. There's smart ways to do it.
I got to the teams that are winning championships. Their practices are so much more intense and hard than anybody's spring game will be. That's just an ironic statement to begin with, that we're going to protect them during our spring game, because your practices should be so intense and so violent that the game is easy. That's literally the point.
And freak things happen. We've seen plenty of people non-contact ACL.
You walk off the field and break something. Like, what? I'm supposed to be wheelchair after every game? Like, stop.
Wasn't it Ted
Ginn just walking boots? Remember, just walking boots.
ACL celebrating his return touchdown in the 2006.
That I hate when I see. Bro, who was it? Was it Fred Warner, the Niners linebacker? Remember, I think it was in the Super Bowl game, or
jogging onto the field.
First play. Yeah, takes off. You see it happening, and it's like, bro, that's like your worst fear. It's like weren't even doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One of the Dramaticas broke their legs celebrating. I want to say when he was kicking for USF. I mean, the celebrating one sucks. This is a very humbling experience. Very quick. Literally. Where's your 40 at as of today, Allie? Kalshi wants to know. $5 from Gator. Oh shoot, I haven't been timed in a while. I'm gonna have to work on that. I'm telling you, I'm not running a sub 5, but I don't think I don't think Cody's running a sub 5 either.
Wow, still no confidence.
Listen, I will put this into perspective. I'll tell you why I have no confidence in this. So you guys know we raise our nephew. Landon is 15. He's sophomore, finished sophomore year of football. He is 6'2". He's about 200 pounds. He barely runs a sub 5, like barely. He plays both ways for his high school team, like goes to a speed trainer on a regular basis. Like,
oh, maybe we got the same speed trainer.
I mean, listen, Eric keeps telling him, you're slow as shit. You better, we got to keep working on this. But I'm just telling you, like, it is, I'm watching this happen in real life, and I'm thinking, it's going to be difficult.
That's more information for the Kalshi people at home. Listen, real quick, for shout out to Cody. Cody is down from 200 to 160, Cody?
Yeah, 160 this morning.
Yeah, that's sprinter weight. You're in your,
He's getting down to, he's 145. He's hired a coach as well.
Yeah, I got a full-time speed coach now.
Listen, you chirping him, put him in a blender. So as long as maybe not run sub 5, but he's going to make sure he puts Al in the dirt. That's for damn sure.
It's going to look good. It's going to look damn good.
All right.
I just be sending your tweets to him at like midnight, so he wakes up to it.
gonna go the like Urban Meyer route when he would like make up fake quotes and stick them all over the locker
They're
room?
all saved on my phone.
Credit them all to Kurt Herbstreit.
Whenever I'm like deep water in the sauna, like 35 minutes at 220 degrees, like, and I'm about to tap, I just look at, I just got a little folder and I just look up mean tweets to Cody. You can't. I'm glad you can start. I'm glad that you have figured out how to start monitoring what you put in your mouth, but not what comes out. Still got to work on that. From the Muffin Man. Appreciate
Perfect.
Oh my God. It's incredible. It's very healthy over here, Allie. It's very good, very kosher. Yeah. $5, the Juju, the Guru. Good evening, boys and Allie. Hope the weekend was great. Keep getting after it this week. Success only stops when you do. Praying for a blessed week. Man, Juju always just dropping some bombs. Tomorrow, we're going to have a great morning show live at 7:05. We're going to be talking about kind of summarizing this, because, again, we keep putting these in chapters, right? Seasons, if you will. We had the hiring season. We had recruiting season. We had retention season.
Just don't put it in phases.
Yeah, no phases anymore. And we've had, this was the gauntlet season, and now we're going to be headed into, so we'll kind of get grades tomorrow. But for now with Allie, I want to talk about, like, what are you looking forward to tomorrow? I mean, again, I feel like there's just the buzz. We're getting back into spring football. Yeah. Obviously, we had the high moment of accomplishing the gauntlet, which was really cool. Quick thoughts. What did you like about, were you a fan of that on kind of how it unfolded and how it ended up getting to where it was on Wednesday with them beating it finally?
Yeah.
You talked to Trout one about it too.
I did. Well, I talked to Phil about it. And ironically, I talked to Phil on a Tuesday and he was like, I honestly, I think they can do it tomorrow morning. And he was like, I forgot what he told me, but basically like they were, 12 seconds off or whatever it was. Like they were decently close. And he's like, so I really do think they're going to get it.
Then we had John on the next morning. They didn't get it. Yeah. John told us.
Yes. And so but it was interesting to me because I don't think it's just fluff. Like, I think they really did think they were going to get it and then it didn't happen. So like, well, we're pushing it another week. And I like that they didn't move the sticks. Like, no, this is where the line is. This is what you have to accomplish it. If you don't, you're just doing it another week. And I appreciate that because I think in this generation of like, oh, we're just going to tell them it's tough and then we're going to let them pass at the end. And like, they didn't do that. And I like that. And I just have watched this work before, like a version of this, even from the taking away of the logos to the mat drills. Like, I mean, this is, I think I might've sent you, I dug up a picture of Eric in camo with like war paint on and stuff. They wore it to one of their midnight lifts and that like this.
Can I put it up?
You can put it up. It helped with team bonding. All of this, like, not only did it make them bigger, faster, stronger, and I think that made them more physically ready for those games, the bonds that overcoming something like the gauntlet create for your team are invaluable as well. And so I'm all for it. And I have really felt the last few years that we've just been a little too soft. So, let's make it hard.
Auburn stole that too. Did you see the Auburn clip that went? They're doing Saturday squat night at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Yeah,
I think I was at Grog when they were lifting during this. But so Eric is the person to the far with the sunglasses on. That's Eric. John Phillips is next to him in the blue Gator shirt, which I don't know if you remember him, but he was our starting kicker for a while. He's an attorney now. Eric Nappy is in the middle, and then that's Billy Latsko next to him, and then Chris Hetland, who was our starting kicker during that time. But they took this very seriously, and this was not the only time this happened. Like, I think there was probably like
Latsko was a fullback, right?
He was a fullback, yeah. I think there was about 4 or 5 midnight lifts that summer.
Look at the arms on that guy.
Bro, the guy on the right to be a full-time kicker.
Is that like all stats?
I mean, Eric too. Like, Eric's a punter,
like son or something. Like, look at that guy. He looks like a heavier age. Cam Scatabo.
He does.
Everyone else looks like college kids. He looks like literally like.
I bet that guy, dude. I bet that guy drank gallons of beer.
Billy drank some beer. Billy was pretty tame. You know who really could drink some beer? Who's going to murder me if I mention this? But somebody on our coaching staff currently used to be able to drink some beer.
Uncle Phil.
There's only two. There's only Bam Earl Trouty, and I think it's probably
offensive linemen usually drink a lot of beer.
Well.
Listen, you don't have a full-blown gator tatted on your left shoulder blade if you're not smashing bush lattes on a Saturday evening, Okay,
That's
I'm
true.
just gonna
That is probably true.
leave it at that.
But yeah, this was. I'm sure I can dig up pictures from other midnight lifts, but that was a really fun time. And I'm telling you what, that bonded those teams.
How fast was Eric's 40?
Well, when Eric was in college, his 40 was a 4.4 like 6 or something. He was smoking then. He says he could not run a sub 5 now. So if that's
he's still in good shape.
He's still in pretty good shape. Maybe
he
not.
Still has a 6-pack from the 90s or
college,
early 2000s.
Eric is pretty fit still. We're gonna need a rope Eric into this running too.
Might be. You haven't even ran one yet, Kat.
I know.
It is give you a very bold goal. It's not like it's a bold goal when you are 22. It is certainly a bold goal when you're 35.
Well, that's what we do here. We like to be a little bold.
Yeah.
Little zesty.
Hey, but you know what? It's one of those like aim for the moon and you'll land upon the stars. Like you're in great shape and your heart's doing well for you. So you know,
we were watching basketball old basketball streams from last year, and I was last night and
the transformation's crazy.
I was like, oh my gosh! Like I was like, why didn't you guys tell me I was a blink in here?
It was
like 2 people.
There's some huge positives from that. So like. I'm not seeing
the crash of him not hitting 50. It could be terminal. I don't know yet. I don't know if we could have the Great Depression afterwards. The air just left kid. I love it. Then
we'll just keep training for the next thing. We'll do it again at a tailgate.
His next goal is to break 80 in golf.
Yeah, we already got the next carrot in front of the horse.
Okay, but that's hard for us to test at a tailgate. So we'll have to figure out a workaround for that.
We're doing an Olympics at the tailgate. Are you in?
An Olympics?
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me what are the events? What are we doing?
All right, so there's gonna be 5. We're announcing it. So I'll kind of put some more official staples here, but we're gonna be 5 team captains. So you have to be on a team. The team captains are gonna be myself, Cody, Harris, Hollywood, and Bozeman, and Swarter's gonna host it, and with Cowboy Ty. Instead of countries, we're gonna do 5 different logo eras.
Okay.
So the F, Albert, the one now. Pell logo, right? Like, and one more. So that's gonna be sick.
Okay.
And so it's gonna be 5 teams, 15 people. Well, if you're in, there's gonna be 14 spots available.
Okay.
And basically, people are gonna sign up. How they get chosen? Harris wants to do a live stream, and we draft everybody who submits their names, which I think would be awesome. But I also know after this group gets together, it gets a little rowdy, and someone's feelings might get hurt. So I don't know how we're gonna handle that. The contest, what it's gonna be too crazy. I can't get sued. It's going to be cornhole, washers, and free throws, and it's going to be timed. And so you're going to try to get it as fast as you can each thing.
No dizzy bat like relay races or anything?
Yeah, I would talk with Bozeman about doing dizzy stuff because I think that'd be hilarious. Again, I would be concerned with somebody hurting themselves.
Shove a beer, do 3 circles on the dizzy bat, run around, go like to a cone.
Allie wants these people just absolutely toasted.
I mean,
maybe we throw in a fourth one.
I'll be drinking again by then.
I would send it. I'm working on getting waivers created because I was like, for where this is going to be headed, it's going to be competitive. So there's going to be a trophy, like a legit high.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
Names going to go in the trophy, 100%.
But then that goes into the lore of the Olympics. So that's, I don't know. You hurt your knee, you can carry.
Did you miss the part of being sued?
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't pick anybody who's going to sue you.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll get all over it. Matt drills.
Scouts honor, I will not be suing you.
Yes.
Tug of war.
Scouts honor. Yeah. Okay. Bet.
No, we're not doing tug of war. We got Stephen Harris is one of the captains. That's not. He tug all of us.
Yeah. Yes, it will be live streamed. The other thing is it's going to be at 8:30 in the morning. So it's got to be quick too. We got to make sure we squeeze it in within an hour.
8:30 in the morning. When are you going to do this?
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
The spring game. Because we have the game at 12, and people want to be able to go to like the Gator Walk's going to be nuts, I assume. So I want people to be able to like hang out. So it's got 8:20 is the national anthem. 8:30 the horn goes. All right. So that's kind of where we're at.
So national anthem. Are you also incorporating? Are we singing the alma mater? Are we singing the fight song? Like what is? Because it's different Gator eras.
Shit.
I think just the best national anthem ever, which
we're going to be playing the Chris Stapleton national anthem.
The Whitney Houston national anthem. Obviously,
what's the best one, Allie?
The Whitney Houston one.
Yeah,
obviously.
but you're old. You don't count. You don't. Hey, Martha. Hey, guys, loving having Allie on the show. Go Gators, absolutely. MJ Gator, go Gators. And then Dumb Comedy just became a new member. Welcome, Dumb Comments and some guy. I love it. Thoughts on Ben Chase leaving UF? Net positive or loss? $10.
Loss.
Yeah, that's a tough one. The guy was NIL Director of the Year.
I texted him afterwards. I was like, because his post didn't actually say he was leaving. So I was like, wait, are we leaving or are we just like making that assumption from the post? And he was like, no, I'm moving on. And he like told me a little bit about his new adventure. But I think it's a huge loss. I think Ben was great for UF.
No doubt. I mean, again, I think he was phenomenal on his connections, and he was very knowledgeable. We would have him on the show on a regular basis to discuss what it was all about. He was a great,
innovative,
very innovative, great ideas. Yeah,
yeah. I feel like UF was on the cutting edge, particularly with like women's sports, which I'm a huge proponent of some of the stuff he's done for gymnastics and softball and just different. Like I don't know. I feel like he wasn't just focused on.
I think what people don't realize, like the bigger sports had more of like agents that would get in the way of things.
Yeah.
So he was able to have more of an impact.
I think he was more. I think he was more focused on the other ones. He was kind of like football's going to take care of themselves. Basketball's going to take care of. Let's get everybody else paid, and I think he did a great job at it.
He was still. It wasn't like he wasn't connected, but it was like those guys had built-in levers, if you will, that were that create more NIL opportunities, and so. He would bring. He had ideas for them, but again, he had more loopholes, if you will, to go through with some of those other guys.
Yeah, and I think that there's some lives that were absolutely changed that wouldn't have been if Ben wasn't at UF, particularly in, like we said, the non-revenue and the women's sports and stuff like that. So,
no doubt. Great question, Soldier Slim. $5 from MJ Gator. Thank you for the $5, MJ. Good to see you, Bubba. Let's get your thoughts, Allie, headed into this to some spring ball starting tomorrow. What are your I want to say biggest takeaways. Let's save quarterback room as its own topic because that's obviously going to be a big topic of discussion. What is another area, if you will, that you're going to be laser focused on and what you want to see in the first couple of days, if you can see anything at all?
I think it'll be interesting to see what we can see, what we're allowed to see. But offensive line is a huge one for me. I don't know what you guys have heard, but I think that they think that room needs some work. And I think from a toughness standpoint, they brought in some pieces. I think they're interested to see how they gel. But like that's the linchpin of where Florida is, whether they succeed or not offensively this year, because on paper, there's just so much talent. It's embarrassing. I don't care who wins the quarterback competition at this point. Because the amount of skill players around them is it's an embarrassment of riches, but none of it matters if you can't block. So, how that line does, I really think is the key to all of it. You could stick one of us back there at quarterback if the line works with the receivers and the running backs that Florida has.
Let me pick your brain on this because we played GM, Cody and I, during the portal time, and we when we were cutting guys, we cut a lot more of the offensive line because we were kind of in the camp of you got to go get a big time tackle and probably a guard or two was where we were at. I think we were on 2 guards and a tackle, right, Coach? Yep. 2 guards because we felt pretty good with the center with a big rod and Jason Zambadella. Like at some point, the guys that have been there, you got to work with what you got. There is expectations there. Najee Harris is being a guard. Fletcher Westfall, one of those young tackles could step up, but there's going to be a spot there. They didn't really do that. They went and got just kind of more competition pieces, not solidified dudes. And so I thought, okay, well, and they retained a lot of the offensive line. I mean, a lot. I mean, damn near all of it. Outside of some like wacko names like the Noah Potogajuk. Nothing against these kids, but like names these guys were like projects when they got here.
They got here.
So you just got rid of your project guys, not big 4-star talents, like a Tavarian Dice or like a Fletcher Westfall.
Right.
And so I asked the question now. It's like, was that kind of hey, we just don't have the time and the resources. We've got to maintain this and kind of just deal with what it is. And they got a rude awakening, but it is what it is. But they kind of had to just bite the bullet, if you will. Do you think that was what happened?
I think offensive linemen are really expensive. And so I think that's probably part of it, is that there's probably some that just from the jump were never even with, like, we couldn't even really have a conversation about, because we would have had to pass on other things that they felt like were key. I mean, we brought in what? I think we brought in 4. Did we bring in 4 transfers?
On the
offensive
line.
We brought in
on the offensive line.
Moore, TJ Shanahan, the Stanford
Boyer.
kid that was the worst tackle in the country, and then Egan Boyer, the Penn State guy. So 4, yes.
And so Stanford, Penn State, Moore,
2 Penn States, Stanford, and
Georgia Tech.
2 Georgia Tech.
Okay, so
2 Georgia Tech or just 1?
I think just 1 Georgia Tech, right? Or did we bring 2? I thought it was just more.
Just more.
Did we bring something else? Okay. So I think you've gotten some, I don't know, a little bit of experience, I guess. We've got what mostly juniors and sophomores or redshirt sophomores are transfer guys in. I think you got a little bit of experience. I don't think, like I said, I don't think we could afford some huge star that is going to command a couple $1 million to come in.
And honestly, we talked about it too. It's like, what would Jordan, if you were to go get Jordan Seaton, who costs 5 to 6, kind of is what the number was.
Yeah.
And on that left tackle, would it really have done anything? I mean, if you've got, you know what I mean? There's so many other areas that you've got to uplift. Like, he's just going to be a sitting duck over there.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I think that the reason why you just don't pay Jordan Seaton, because it's not going to matter if you have holes everywhere else. Like so a right or a left tackle doesn't matter if you're seeping from the guards and centers is terrible.
Right.
So,
and I think. I mean, honestly, I think they probably want to see what they actually have too. What can we do with good coaching? And a real strength program. And so because we have some guys with experience. So can we take these guys who do have the experience, make them bigger, stronger, faster, and tougher, and have an outcome and use a good outcome and use the money elsewhere? And so I do think that that's kind of putting some pressure on Phil to really coach this line up. But I think they were being realistic with the money that they had.
Well, shocker alert. I'm optimistic. I know, not used to that, guys. You can sit down now. So my reason, I guess, for being optimistic in this particular situation is just because I've seen us have, if you will, better, more talent. I mean, that offensive line last year on paper was solid. And it just, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but it was
top 5 in the country. Like, how many times do we say that during the offseason? This should be a top 5 offensive line in the country.
Yeah, you're gonna have 2 of those guys be pretty, or 3 of them. I think Damian George will actually get land pretty healthily in the NFL. And you were kind of left on that right tackle being developed, which is like, if you have one guy that you have to develop, what are we doing here? The reason I'm weirdly optimistic is this line has a lot more experience than I think is being credited for. I think it ranks 3rd in the SEC for total snaps. Like, it's not like it's a bunch of young dudes running around.
And if we're being honest, even though they underperformed last year, which they did, I don't think we can look at that line as the root of our problems last year either. And so, okay, you were serviceable. You weren't top 5 in the country like we thought you were going to be. So you did have an underwhelming, underperforming season, but you didn't have a bad season.
Correct.
So you've got guys coming back with experience, like, Harris and Jones and Lovett and Westfall and Kearney and whatever. Like, so you've got a group of guys, and then you've got 4 other guys from elsewhere, 3 of which at the very least have a decent amount of experience. And you hope that you can, plug and play until you get a group that can.
I think this line in a way mirrors where the Gator line was 2 years ago, with a up and coming Slaughter, and up and coming Barber, and a very young Najee. Damian George once moved into that guard position, played very well, right? But so think of that line where it's like, okay, it's got places to go. I think this line has more talent with options to go to, with the tackle position, with your Tavarius Dice. The Stanford kid, they're very high on. I know his grade was ass cheeks from Stanford, but you throw in
Stanford as a whole is ass cheeks. So, I mean,
a true freshman's playing, like Jordan Seaton, his first year, had great scores at Colorado, but he got throttled at Colorado, because when you were just a one-man band over there, you're going to get torched.
A true freshman playing anywhere on the offensive line, I think, is worth noting, because that is Phil and I actually talked about this, some on air and some off air, that like, you don't get developed in high school at offensive line. Like you just don't, but 90% of teams are literally taking the biggest, strongest guy that they have, fattest guy that they have, and just sticking him on the line and, telling them don't let anybody past you. There's not a whole lot of technique.
No technique. Yeah.
And
you need that when you've got Colin Simmons blasting your ass on Saturday evening. Yeah. You're going to need all that you can get. So do you think this is going to be the biggest challenge Troutwine has had as a coach? Because I don't know how his first year was at Penn State, but you got to think, for me, he's been at Penn State his entire career. There's been always a base.
He was at Boston College before that, I think.
Okay, for the last.
He's been there for a while, and I didn't follow very closely the recruits that he had there, but he's put a lot of guys in the league. He's had a no-star guy go in the first round. He's had a 3-star guy go in the first round. Like, I think he's got a track record of developing talent. So you've got a group of guys who do have some experience. And so hopefully with good coaching,
you got a good mixture here. Yeah. You're not just taking a nobody. Cause like, again, the Boyer kid from Penn State, that seems like a Troutwine prodigy. Like that, in my opinion, is a guy that's going to give you his what he's going to utilize in the Florida sphere of recruiting. I think it could be what the Max Hiller connection is of this kid 6'8", he was a nobody. Watch what he's going to do this year at tackle at Florida, and you're a 5-star unit, brother. Yeah. Like that's, I think that's what's going to be huge for Troutwine. I think TJ Shanahan, that guy's going to his 4th year. I mean, he played at A&M, he played at Penn State. He's got and I think Harrison Moore is going to be an absolute treat. This guy had obviously Brent Key coaching him. One of my biggest things that I loved about Georgia Tech was that offensive line.
Yeah,
I mean, you're going to be going, in my opinion, being coached by one of the best offensive line coaches in Brent Key to the best offensive line coach in Troutwine.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy is probably going to be a lot better than we can anticipate. So you've got those 3 that have a ton of experience. I think Najee is a very good guard. Is he a great guard? No, I think he still has some things. I think his size is part of his a little bit of his issue, but phenomenal technique. The guy's a grinder. And then, of course, you're still kind of questionable in the tackle position with experience, and that seems to be a catalyst for us, or Achilles heel, if you the last couple of years.
Well, and Jason Zemandella's got to take over that center spot for sure, 100%.
I think he slides. I think it's Harrison Moore's. I think Big Rod will be backed up. If we're projecting depth charts, I think Big Rod. I don't know. I think so. Rod's going to slide to a guard. Excuse me. I think right guard, and I think Zamandela is going to be centered in that back. I think Harrison Moore should be the guy, personally.
I mean, I think there's a pretty damn good chance that your new offensive coordinator has a center that he's familiar with. I think that
more.
Right, that's what I'm saying. More. Like that's why I think that totally.
Zamandela hasn't played enough. That would be if he again. It's kind of like the Jamel and Fowle thing.
5-star cat you've been paying though. Those guys got to pan out.
I hear you, but Moore's going into his 3rd year, played in the system, and like I just said, coached by one of the best offensive line coaches in the country, and Brent Key. Like if Mandela beats him out, we're in a great position.
Yeah, heck yeah.
That's a good thing to have. I don't see it.
Would you guys be glass half full if it wasn't Troutwine coaching this?
No, again, those.
I don't think as much. I think I respect the hire. I think it was a really good hire, so I'm confident that it's going to be better than it was. But yeah, I mean, the hire is what makes me confident.
The combination of obviously this gauntlet and what we've heard from the strength and conditioning, the noise of the O-line being called out for being soft, like that's not even behind. Coach has said it. Summerall has said it on air. So nobody's been quiet about it. I think that's going to rub those guys the wrong way. Troutwine, I'm sure, is hearing it and is saying it and is aware of it. And it has, again, he knows what's right in here. He knows who he is. Yeah.
One of the things Phil said to me that really stuck out is that when I asked him about the talent in the room and stuff, he said, these guys want to be good. He didn't say these guys are good. This team is, he literally said these guys want to be good. I think that they've made
sometimes that's better than being good. I know it sounds weird.
It makes you coachable.
Better than having too big of an ego and thinking that like you can't be coached because you know what you're doing. But like I think they've been pretty forthright and honest with like, we're pretty underwhelmed with what we've got here. Let's change that. Let's change it. You guys put in the work let's be really proud of the product we put on the field. Like I think that they've been very honest and upfront with
and you know, truthfully, when was the last great Florida offensive line?
The freaking Pouncies were probably on it. Like it's been a long time.
Like we've still won football games with bad offensive lines. It hasn't always looked great, but you also have one of the greatest.
The two offensive linemen blocking each other in the Muschamp era.
What was that, Muschamp?
It was Muschamp.
Yeah. Was it?
At least we got the block off.
I think it was the Georgia Southern game that we lost.
Yeah.
But
what coach was it that they had to borrow defensive linemen because they didn't have enough offensive linemen to play in the spring game?
Too. There was a year where Muschamp had it was a year he was fired, which is still why I would protest him getting fired that year. Is that they had freaking 57 scholarship players by the time they played Florida State because everybody was injured.
When we had Dorian on. Thank you again for the connection. Oh, yeah. He said he liked Muschamp. He compared him to Muschamp.
My brother played for Muschamp, and my brother would run through a wall for him till this day. He was such a player's coach, and unfortunately, he didn't really get a whole lot of say in Charlie Weiss becoming his offensive coordinator. That was more of a UAA decision than anything else. But I do think had he had a different offensive coordinator, Will Muschamp might still be the head coach at the University of Florida. That was the miscalculation, I think.
Muschamp and Greer in the shoe throw are the three biggest what ifs that will live rent free forever in my head.
Always. Freaking shoe throw is
when Summerall starts hanging banners and hoisting national championship trophies because he's a psycho
I love that Todd's got us in this rhythm. I do wonder we'll wrap it up here with this just for a quick second. I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I start thinking ahead of where does this Florida basketball team go next year? What's because he's gonna have to get dirty in the portal. This team is it's kind of how it was after that 2007 Natty with the basketball. It's just you have to reset. It's gonna be now the portal changes your the reset like it did in the past.
He's gonna not want to come play to Florida with Florida though.
I'm listen. We're on the same team.
Well, he might be able to free up a little extra NIL money.
He's between you and Cody, okay? Not me. But yeah, I agree. I do think I'm excited to see what we will do. I do think that Lee and Boogie have a chance of staying too. I don't know if they necessarily have solidified themselves as draft picks.
Throw some money at them, and it is definitely at least a conversation to be had, right?
I need to find me another Rube. You know what I mean? And a Hulk.
What we need to not have happen is the NBA to come calling.
Oh, they're calling. They're calling though.
That's what we got to try and fight off more than anything else. More than getting guys in the portal, we need the NBA to stay away from Todd Golden.
That is that version.
That's what I'm meaning. Oh. Yeah, no, I'm meaning stay away from Golden.
You think Toddy wants to go to NBA? Do you think that's the ultimate goal?
I don't know. I mean, I feel
he seems like he's having a lot of fun.
I mean, he definitely seems like he's having fun. We need to keep it fun.
I've never really seen for me when people are I don't feel like moving from college to the NFL is a promotion or college basketball coach to NBA coach is a promotion. They're their own hierarchy in my opinion.
I think it just depends on how the coaches are wired. I mean, think about Billy Donovan. He had it made in Gainesville.
But that was a long time though. That one made a little more sense because he kind of had done his thing in college. And he's let me go. Let me go see what I can.
If Golden wins another title and you're what? It was hard. I spent 4 years, won 2 national titles, 2 SEC tournament titles, a regular season.
Yeah, but you want to go be a GOAT. You want to have a floor named after you. You got to do a couple of things. Got to do.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I hope he's staying for a very long time. I think he and Summerall together are so fun.
Do you also think, before we wrap this up, do you also think that now that it's getting more pro, the league, football and basketball, that these coaches aren't going to make the jump?
I actually think they're more likely to because of it. Because I think they don't organize deal with the NIL stuff and trying to teach kids how to act like adults because you're getting paid. Phil actually told me that if he didn't get the Florida job, he was going to the NFL because he was over dealing with the NIL stuff. And the only place that he'd be willing to deal with the NIL stuff was if he got to coach at Florida.
That part I see why coaches would leave is because of just how unorganized it is. It's exhausting. I could see how it could be exhausting. I never saw the appeal in the sense of this is a good opportunity,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's a better one now.
The other, like you're either a college coach or you're a
yeah.
coach. Very few coaches are good both places.
Harbaugh's doing well, but again, Harbaugh
did well, but like those are the exceptions.
They ran their courses though.
Spurrier couldn't do well at it. Urban Meyer couldn't do well at it. Coaches that just
Nick Saban didn't do well.
Nick Saban didn't do well at it.
Urban was
Belichick's not doing well in college. Like they're just
that was never going to work. I don't think you can come backwards.
Like everybody, the smoke around Kirby, right? Like he's going to go to the NFL.
I don't think he'd be good.
I don't think he's good.
I mean, I think Kirby's a good coach, but I just don't. He's not
going to get those guys to buy in. Yeah, he's not going to get those guys to buy in.
I think Dan Campbell could come and coach in college and kick ass.
I think
100%.
All comes down to how these coaches choose to motivate their players, and like for Urban, like it was so much psychological.
He liked to kick his players
when you're making less money than your players are. It's hard to have a psychological advantage over them, which is why that didn't pan out.
I think there's a good point to be made too. Like Mike Zimmer was kind of a rough and rowdy coach, kind of like Saban and others. And the problem is at the NFL level, some of these guys are staying 10, 11, 12 years with a team. That rubs people, that wears on people.
Yeah.
Like this always like in your face, like you're not good enough. I'll go find your spot at 7-Eleven. Like that shit in the league, it works for a little bit. And I think it's happening to Dan Campbell right now. I think that it's happening to the Lions. I think his
niche is getting burnt out.
Yeah, I think the play and the story and the we're gonna do this way and we're gonna be rough and tough. That shit by year 5, it's white noise because you're like, oh, he's already said this before. But with college, you got such an influx of players all the time. Heck, you can barely keep them a year or two. That white noise is no longer white noise because it's this coach is serious.
Yeah,
it's such rotation.
The players are it's so rotational.
They would crush. Chinulu's not even projected to go get drafted.
Well, that's a wild statement.
Yeah, that's crazy. If that's
I don't say a statement. I think it's a post. So here's the problem. This is where the NBA is weird too because they're super European heavy. Well, it's European heavy is why it's probably where that's coming from. If I had to guess, that's what could be causing him to be impacted.
Well, great. Let's keep him.
Yeah, can we keep him another year?
Yeah, I'm good for that. Let's do that.
While you plug yourself out, I'm going to look up the NBA.
Okay.
Draft real quick
we need to know what plug myself.
Wow, jeez, Shelton.
Like tell me where they can find you. I mean,
well, that sounds way better.
Okay.
This show's gone off the rails.
You can find me over on YouTube at A Peek Inside Gator Football. We're talking a little basketball this time of year as well. Or you can argue with me over on X at Allie_Peek. Or you can argue with me on here.
Is plug a negative connotation?
No, I'm just teasing you.
No, it just sounded.
Thomas Houck's projected to go number 10. Darius Acuff, who we just mopped the floor with, is projected to go 9th. One and done there. Typical Calipari guy.
He was a little chippy too. He was getting real frustrated.
Yeah, they were getting pissed. Koa Pete, power forward from Arizona, 14th. It actually looks pretty Americano here. Not as European-esque. A lot of like this is New Zealand Breakers. See what I'm talking about? Boozer was like a top 3 pick. Yeah, I don't see our boy.
Well, great. Let's get him back.
Yeah.
That would be crazy if Ruben. Condon's not on here either.
Yeah, he's got to earn his spot back.
I think his is going to be... Oh, no, there's Condon. They've got Condon going 42nd. Which, again, I think at one point, if you're Condon, you got to take a look at this and be like, wow, he was a lottery pick last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not on here. He's not... There's nowhere... Ruben's not on here.
That's crazy. So crazy.
Wow. Yeah, I get frozen. Sorry when I click on the other screen. So, I mean, look, you could Houck's gone. But he could stay. Now, you don't stay if you're a top 10 draft pick. But
I'm not a top 10. I wouldn't stay.
Yeah. So, look, you keep your guards. Maybe. Look, we got to win this year.
Let's do that first. Let's do that. Let's start with winning the SEC tournament. How about that?
Amen. Well, I'm glad you had to plug yourself, Allie. I know you always yell at me when you don't get a chance to do that. I'm just kidding. All right. Great show. Shout out to Hollywood. Shout out to the Professor. Sorry, Cody.
Wow. You are in shambles right now. You are in a blender. Golly.
See you guys tomorrow live at 7:05. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for the ears peeled for the Olympics. Heyo, if you want to hop in it. So, Allie, are you in? Are you taking a spot? I need to be confirmed.
I'll tentatively say yes. It'll either be me or Eric. How about that?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We got a Wilbur in the mix. I'm down. If it's Eric, I'm taking Eric.
You should. He's good at all of the things that you're.
I saw the photo.
He's competitive as hell.
I saw the six-pack.
You saw the photo.
I saw the six-pack. Y'all be good. We'll see you guys live tomorrow morning at 7:05. Be there or be square. Smash it, like it, do all the nice stuff to it. We'll see you boys in the next one. Peace and love, baby.
It's Hot Top Sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist, water bringing fire, cowboy, towel riding bull.